All right, so for this week's assignment, you're going to be working on different aspects of narrative writing. And as you work on these different aspects, you're going to have a different little piece of this assignment to complete. So if you look at Google Classroom, go to the classwork tab to today's assignment where it says Poe assignment and dialogue notes, and you scroll down, you're going to see there's a Poe narrative assignment, and you're going to see that there are dialogue notes. So if we open the Poe narrative assignment, this is what you're going to be working on for the next week that's due on Monday. So each couple of slides will have an assignment. Today's assignment is going to be dialogue, and then you're going to see how you'll be graded for dialogue. Tomorrow is going to be leads and endings, and you're going to see how you'll be graded. The next day, Thursday, will be figurative language, and you'll see how you're going to be graded. And then Thursday, I'll also tell you what the bonus question is. And if you choose to do it, then here are the bonus points that you can earn. So potentially you could earn 36 out of 30 points on this assignment. It's a daily point assignment. You will not be able to do the bonus assignment or the bonus slide unless you turn this whole slideshow in early on Friday. If you wait until Monday when it's due, you will not be eligible for the bonus slide. All right, so for today, which is going to be this slide right here, the dialogue slide, I just want to go through some dialogue notes and what to do and what not to do when you are writing dialogue. So I know you all have seen dialogue in your books and your stories that you've read for class. You see it all over the place. But there are some things that you want to do and some things that you don't want to do when you're writing dialogue for your own stories. So as far as what to do and what not to do, hopefully after this slideshow, you'll understand a little bit more on what makes strong dialogue and how to do it. So first off, do not use dialogue just to fill space because your story needs something and you think, oh, I'll just throw some dialogue in. Do not use it for what I call say nothing or empty conversations. Those conversations that basically say, hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Those are super empty, boring conversations. Don't use dialogue for that. Don't use dialogue to repeat what's already been said in your writing. So if in your writing you say a character was frightened and screamed, don't have the dialogue be the character screaming. Choose one or the other, not both. And then don't include detail that's going to detract from the story. Don't decide, oh, I think I'm going to add some dialogue with a funny joke or something completely unrelated just because I think it would be good. Make sure it goes with the story and adds to the story. Now over on this side, the go, this is when you should use dialogue. Use it to add more depth to the story, make your story deeper, more engaging to readers. Use it to show more characterization. Remember what we did the other day with characterization. How can we learn about characters, their personalities, their true feelings and so forth? If you think dialogue can show that, use it. Use it to tell or show something that hasn't already been shown in the writing, or use it to build excitement, action, and suspense. So some do's and don'ts on writing dialogue. Now, this is where we get into the technical stuff. These are the rules. I would never expect you to memorize these rules, although once you become a pretty strong writer, you kind of just have them in your back pocket. You don't really need to look at them. But until you get there, you should be referencing this quite often when you are writing dialogue. So there's 3 areas of rules. The first one is punctuation. Basically for punctuation, you want to keep all your quotation marks or use quotation marks to show all dialogue. So anytime someone's speaking, you're going to have quotation marks. You're going to use a comma at the end of the quote if it's not the end of the sentence. And I'll show you that in an example. And you're going to introduce each quote with a comma. You also want to keep all your punctuation inside the quotation marks. As far as capitalization, you want to start each quote with a capital letter unless it's a split quote, and I'll show you one of those. And then for formatting, every time there's a new speaker, you want to start a new paragraph, so you're going to indent. You also want to make it clear who's speaking. Your reader shouldn't have to count lines to figure out who's talking. And then use action and emotion words rather than just saying said. I'm not saying that you can't use the word said, but if you do, make sure that you also include action and emotion words. So here's all of that in play. here's some sample dialogue. You're going to notice, first of all, this is a paragraph. These two lines are one paragraph. This is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, and this is a paragraph. Because every time the reader or the speaker switches, you start a new paragraph. You're also going to notice that I can tell who's talking and what's being said by these quotation marks. And I'm identifying Jenny's talking here, then Paul, then I know she refers to Jenny, then Paul, and then Jenny. You're also going to notice that my punctuation here and here and here and here and so forth is all inside the quotation marks. And when you see a quote being introduced, like right here, Paul's voice caught, and then I have the rest of the quote, I use a comma to introduce it. I also did that here when I used cried, comma, and then I have the quote. As far as capitalization, notice how every quote starts with a capital letter. This is a capital, 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 and this is a capital. The only exception is this line right here. And the only reason why is because I just can't forget what I saw is all one sentence. So this is interrupting the sentence, so we're not going to capitalize the second part of it. That's what's called a split quote. As opposed to this one, even though we have Jenny pleaded in the middle, this is a brand new sentence, so we would capitalize it. So that is basically what it looks like. Again, you're not going to memorize this. You're just going to use this as a guide and go back to kind of check your work and make sure your work looks like this. You're also going to notice all of the emotion that is included in the dialogue. Asked Jenny, responded with a slight lump in his throat. She pointed at the letter in her hands and tearfully cried. Paul's voice caught, Jenny pleaded. So just in the verbs that are used, rather than using said over and over and over, we're really getting an idea of the action and the emotion of the story as well as the dialogue giving us that. So here is your assignment. You're going to select 2 characters from the Telltale Heart. Options include the narrator, the old man, the neighbor who calls the police, or the police. And keep in mind, the police could actually be 2 characters. It could be 2 of the 2 police officers that show up speaking to one another. And I want you to come up with an additional scene for the story that would include the 2 characters that you selected. The scene should be all dialogue. It can be as long or short as you want, as long as you're adding to the story. You know, obviously 1 line of dialogue or 2 lines of dialogue is not really going to add to the story. So think about what happened in the story. Think about where a conversation would be super interesting, and have fun with it. Be creative. Once you've finished, you're going to double and triple check your dialogue rules for errors. Correct any errors that you find. All right, so that's the assignment. And then the assignment's going to go right on this slide where it says Poe narrative assignment. So this is the title slide. This is where you're going to write your actual dialogue. And then this is how you'll be graded. It's 10 points of the 30 points of your assignment. And you can kind of look through the rubric and see how you'll be graded. If you have any questions, you can email me or you can ask me when I get back tomorrow. Have fun with this. Do your best. Be good for my guest teacher, and I will see you tomorrow.